You know, I'm gonna take a dive in my old Cringe box and see what comes up. Ooh, man. This one's a doozy.
Dead man dies.
Hey Cringers, welcome back to Cringer Reviews. I'm Cameron, and today we're going to be looking at... Undertale. This video is gonna be painful to write. I have some sympathy for the FNAF franchise, because I indeed used to enjoy it a lot, but Undertale? I always thought it was cringe. I hate this game. And what's worse is that there's a sequel to the story called Deltarune. Really? It's just an anagram of Undertale. That's so unoriginal and lame. That's like me renaming Cringer Reviews to Westby Erger Crin. That's so cringe, I'm cringing. In fact, I'm cringing so hard my pancreas just withered away into cringe dust. Anyway, today's video will be a little more different than my first two, as instead of looking at the community of something, I'm going to be discussing the game itself. Because man oh man, Undertale is a cringe fest through and through. From the terrible graphics to garbage storyline, it's a mess. Now, I've never played the game myself, but I have seen a lot, and I mean a lot, of videos and playthroughs on the game. I know enough to form my own opinion on it. Anyway, let's begin, because I'm showing no mercy on this game. Before I talk about why this game is so cringe, I think it's best for you guys to have some context on what it's actually about. Basically, it's a game where there's a war between humans and monsters, and then years later, you're a human that fell down into a mountain and into the monster world, where you meet zany and wacky characters to either be friends with, run from, or kill. And of course, this is the whole point of the game. You can either be a kind angel and spare everyone and be everyone's friend, or you can do the smart thing and murder all those furry weirdos. Now, this wouldn't be bad if it weren't for the fact that taking the smart route is not the correct way, because apparently, these video game characters feel real pain or whatever. Cringe, right? Yeah, I know. The game actively discourages you from taking this path because it wants you to get the better ending. So what's the point of choosing then? I'm getting carried away. Back to the story. Apparently, a bunch of other human children fell down into the underground just like you, but they all died because King Asgore had to take their souls to break the barrier to free all the monsters. Yeah, it's weird. I thought this was a kid's game. This is dark. This is messed up. I understand dead kids in FNAF, but Undertale? Jeez Louise. Anyway, that's most of the main story. There's also a bunch of secrets like this weird scientist dude called W.D. Gaster, but that doesn't matter. Anyway, on to... The gameplay of Undertale is a mess. Most other RPGs are straightforward. You press a button and you fight the enemy. In Undertale, however, you control this heart thing that moves around a little box and dodges magic attacks. And then, it gets even weirder when suddenly your heart changes color, and suddenly it works differently. Oh no, you're blue. Now you have a whole new set of controls to get used to. It's so stupid, and cringe. Not to mention how many other colors there are. Yellow, purple, too many to keep track of. It's all terrible and annoying, and cringe. There's also the graphics that try to look like old games, which quite frankly, I think is very moronic. There are other aspects of the game I really don't like the areas and the characters in them. I'll summarize all of them real quick. A basic tutorial level, nothing interesting except for this cute looking flower that's actually evil. I like Flowey for the sole reason that he wants to end the game just as much as I do. Enemy design is very boring, one of them is just a vegetable with a face. Lame. The mini-boss of the area is just a sheet ghost, whose whole gimmick is that they cry and are sad. Boring. The final boss is Toriel, some goat furry thing. Cringe. This area gets a 4 out of 10. Well, it's a change of scenery, but a bad one at that. It's just a bunch of snow. That's it. The enemies are better, at least, with some interesting designs. Though the mini-bosses are all just a bunch of dogs. Really? What do dogs have to do with snow? And it doesn't end there. There's these two skeletons, Sans and Papyrus. And they are, in every sense of the word, worst. The worst characters in any video game ever. They're both so goddamn annoying. Papyrus is a complete failure at everything he does, and Sans just makes awful puns and is a lazy garbage bag. What's worse is that to get the good ending, you have to date Papyrus. Ugh, just straight up cringe. And Sans, apparently he's super important to the story, and if I actually cared, I'd tell you why. Anyway, 0 redeeming qualities between the two. Ruins the place for me. 1 out of 10. Probably my favorite area in the game. It's got nice music, though the enemies are meh. One of them is a weird horse mermaid thing that's all about flexing its gross muscles. Ew. The mini-boss is the Mad Dummy, who is my favorite character in the game. They seem like the kind of character that like to cringe at something with me. The boss of the area is Undine, some fish lady. Meh. Except for the fact that this character is completely ruined by the fact that she was made a lesbian, for the only reason I can assume being forced diversity. Ugh! What's with SJWs and pushing their agenda on everything? Ugh, I just cringe so hard, I just took off on the cringe blimp. Now it's going down, and I'm gonna die. She pushed the area down to a 5 out of 10. Boring design. Just a bunch of rocks. The enemies are lame too. One of them is this thing. This weeb plane monstrosity that haunts my nightmares. The mini-boss is 2 gay knights. Come on! What did I say about the SJWs and their agenda? Ugh! And then, there's Alphys. An annoying weeb lesbian. This is just the description of the average SJW. Who paid Toby Fox to put their stupid Sona into Undertale? God! Okay. Hopefully the boss of this place is better. It's Metaton. Ugh. Now, you may be thinking, what's so bad about this character? He just looks like a regular robot. Well, later on, he turns into... Meh, don't remember much of this one. All I can remember is that it was boring. 2 out of 10. Alright, finally we can be done with this pile of steam and crap game. After the core, you walk through the ruins but gray. Lazy, I know. Then you enter some boring yellow hallway, and Santa's for some godforsaken reason there. He starts spouting all this, ooh, you didn't kill anyone, you're a good person, or ooh, you killed a lot of people, you're a bad person, garbage. And as soon as you're done with that, you fight the final boss, Asgore, who is just another god-damned furry. Probably even worse than Toriel, because after you fight him, he starts talking about being a part of a family with you or some creepy shit like that. But luckily for you, your favorite flower friend swoops in to save the day by killing that furry weirdo. Before shutting down the game? What? But guess what happens after you turn the game back on? Go on, take a guess. If you guessed awful nightmare hellscape with a final boss that doesn't even match the rest of the game's art style, you'd be correct. Because Ultra Flowey is just garbage. Complete and utter trash. Jesus, it looks so horrible. I can't even begin to imagine why anyone would like this. Anyway, if you beat Ultra Flowey, you have the choice to kill him or spare him. And if you're a normal person, you choose the kill option. Luckily, the game doesn't punish you this time, so you just leave the underground, that's it, done, game over. There's also the other endings, but if I talk about this game for any longer, I'm gonna cringe so hard I'll slip into the cringe dimension. My god, that was painful to talk about. I just cringed so hard I could power a cringe generator. Hell, I could power Cringe City. Anyway, it's time for my final verdict on Undertale. The game is cringe. So cringe. Whenever I look at those goddamn skeletons, I lose my marbles. I hate Undertale. Always have, always will. This game gets a beyond cringe on the cringe scale. Ugh. Sorry about that, guys. Got a little carried away. Thank you for watching. Stay determined. Stay cringing.
What's been happening?